Hey, what's going on, guys? Joe Mama here, and today I'll be bringing you my VGC team for season 10 of the MBA, otherwise I guess previously known as the VDL. But yeah, I own a Nintendo-made Pokemon game now, so I can play in Wi-Fi draft, which is exciting. I guess the two kind of key rulings I'll go into prior getting into my team is that, I guess outside of the fact that it is using the champions Pokemon and item pool, which excludes a lot, as a lot of you know. But the main things I want to go into is that each battle is a best of 3, which I really like for this format because even in particular, even with reference right to VGC in general, I'm pretty sure this current champions format is very RNG heavy. I don't even mean that in a bad way, but more so, Rock Slide, super meta, Blizzard, super meta. A lot of these spread moves that have a percentage chance to do something are very meta. So I think having a best of 3 to kind of, lower that inconsistency as much as possible, I think is quite nice. So that is a thing. And then also there is item clause in champions. So I guess you can't see on my screen right now, but choice scarf's one of the best items in the game. I can't run 3 choice scarves. I'm not sure if I'd want to, but even if I did, it is not allowed. Only one Pokemon can have that. And what's nice about it is it really puts more value on a lot of these Pokemon that can use a little bit more niche items to good effect. It also puts a little bit more value on Megas, right? Because the Mega Stone is a unique item for that Pokemon, and it allows you to kind of free up some of the better items in the game for your other, non-Mega Pokemon. So a lot of the teams, which I may discuss in depth later, but not in this video, a lot of the teams have multiple Megas, mine included. Some have 3 even. I don't know if there's anyone with 4, but I know there's a few with 3. I have 2, and I think there might be a team or two that has 1, but that 2 seems to be the sweet spot, at least for me. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into it. So my first pick of the draft was Archaladon. So the thing that I like about Archaladon is, as many know, it is a staple in the Rain playstyle. It gets the move Electroshot, which is a 130 base power, 100% accurate electric move that usually takes 2 turns, so it has to charge the first turn and attack the second turn. In Rain, it does not charge, and similar to Meteor Beam, that first turn you will be getting a special attack boost. So the idea, right, is you have this guy in Rain, you just kind of scale to infinity with your special attack. I have that option, but it also serves well as just a really good typed defensive wall. It has stamina, which further boosts its defense. It has a base defense of 130, which is incredible. And I have a few ways to kind of, low power multi-hit moves on some of my other Pokemon to kind of get stamina up and running. It is a little weak on its Spadef, but I have a few Pokemon with Light Screen. There's ways to kind of mitigate that as well. But yeah, it gets its stab moves. It gets like Draco. It gets Flash Cannon, Electroshock for coverage. Obviously, it can set its own screens if you really want it to. And yeah, it seems pretty strong. It can use Thunderbolt, which is actually pretty important, especially for my team, because I may not be running Rain every single week. I do not have a hard Rain team. There are a few in the league. I opted not to do that. So having access to Thunderbolt is quite helpful. But yeah, not really much to say. Really good typing, really good special attacking threat. Decent HP, decent speed. Actually a pretty decent attack, and it has Sword Stance as well, so that is an option. But mainly it's going to be, kind of like a quote-unquote like raid boss Pokemon that I kind of boost up with stamina and kind of just let it kill things, maybe getting a few special attack boosts from Electroshot. But yeah, so that was my first pick. Very flexible, and it does allow me to run this like Rain core that I have. That is very nice. For my second pick, I went for my Mega. I thought this Mega was going to go very quickly, so I'm glad I picked it up when I did. But I have the Mega Venusaur. So Mega Venusaur is super nice. grass types in this format are actually better than they are in singles, and the reason being is redirection is a thing in doubles, which is very annoying. I did actually forget to mention as well, I guess with Archaludon, is it does get Stalwart, which is an ability that stops it from being redirected, which is very nice. Grass types are also not redirected by Rage Powder, which is far and away the most common form of redirection. I believe there's only 2 Pokemon. I guess 3, because Clefable is a Mega, which some people have Mega Clefable and others have base Clefable. But my point being is that Follow Me redirection is very, very rare with this limited Pokemon pool, and grass types aren't affected by Rage Powder. Excuse me. So effectively, in most matchups, Venusaur can't really redirect a Sleep Powder. You can't really redirect a super effective move. It's not really a thing that can happen. It's one of the better special attacking threats in the format that is run predominantly with physical attacking threats. 122 base special attack. Its defenses are both very solid. It can be run defensively, it can be run specially defensive, and still function very well. It's not super fast, not super slow, and it does, similar to Archaludon, it has the ability to be run with a physically offensive with Swords Dance, but it's probably a bit rare. Now the beauty in this Pokemon is it can function before and after Mega. So before Mega, if I'm facing a Sun team, which is a very potent threat within just the format in general, but in draft as well. I have Chlorophyll, which allows me to double my speed in Sun. So I have the ability to just choose not to Mega this Pokemon and have it be just super fast threat. I can outspeed Charizard Y. I can outspeed. It can really outspeed anything that is unboosted, right? So that's something I can use it for, right? And when I do Mega, it gets Thick Fat, as you can see here, which is incredible. It makes super effective fire and ice type moves against me just neutral, which, obviously taking away 2 weaknesses with an ability is quite nice. It really only leaves me open to flying and psychic type attacks, and once again, I can leverage this bulk to take these neutral fire and neutral ice type attacks, so it's very strong. We have access to Sleep Powder, which is one of the best deterrents for, really anything in the game, right? Trick Room. Lumberry is at 1. They can run Lum and Chestu if they really want to, but it just doesn't. It's like you're not guaranteed to run into the Sleep Powder, right? You're wasting an item slot. Like there's a few, there's real trade-offs, right? We have Earth Power. We have knockoff of doing a more kind of utility-based build. We have Leech Seed. We have dual screens as well. We just have Light Screen, but once again, it's probably the more important of the two because of my Archaludon being already good on the physical defense side. We have Sludge Bomb and Sludge Wave, which can be paired with Archaludon because he is a Steel type, so he won't take damage from it. Weather Ball is a classic. We have some pretty decent utility moves. We have Acid Spray. We have Bullet Seed to, once again, a multi-hit move that activate Archaludon's stamina. We have Charmed to lower attack. We have a lot of pretty good support moves. Even Worry Seed I can see coming in some matchups. But mainly it's going to be there for that Sleep Powder and then for just hitting really hard. And it is bulky to kind of stick around for a while, right? So I'm really excited about it. It's, I guess, notably as well, the main kind of rain Mega, I guess, that's used is Meganium, and this thing absolutely shuts down Mega Meganium, which is super nice. So, if we're doing kind of a weather war, right, my Mega is far and away superior than the opposing Mega I will likely face. But yeah, let's go to that third Pokemon. I picked up Meowscarada and Grace. I'll talk about it a little bit later on. As you can see, I already have 2 grass types, which once again, I guess seems pretty strange for people that are more singles oriented. But I think also outside of that, right? Grass still isn't a phenomenal type. But the thing with Meowscarada, it was between Meowscarada, Weavile, and I guess to a lesser extent Greninja. their defensive profiles don't really matter, right? Like they're all just gonna like die to a neutral hit, right? I mean, that's kind of like the thing with these Pokemon, right? They're super fast, super frail, and they can hit pretty hard. The thing with Meowscarada over Weavile, which I was really going back and forth on, is Meowscarada just has better supporting moves, really, and a better ability as well. I mean, Protein's phenomenal. That's the thing as well. It's like, even though I am technically a grass type, I can very easily, change my typing and outspeed most Pokemon trying to hit me with Protein. So it really is kind of a moot point that this Pokemon is like a double up on a grass Pokemon, because it just does it does so much different stuff from Venusaur, but also it's just not really going to be a grass type very often, right? It gets stab knockoff just like Weavile. It gets Flower Trick, which is a phenomenal move that always crits. Certain Pokemon like Coil Melodic might be a problem otherwise. Flower Trick just kind of vaporizes that Pokemon, which is super nice. And also, you will see later, I am actually running a Pokemon with Anger Point, which is an ability that maxes out its attack stat if it's hit with a critical hit. The idea, right, is I can use Flower Trick on my own Pokemon. It's not very effective into this Pokemon. You'll see it in a few minutes. And it just gives it a belly drum boost, which is needless to say, it's pretty insane. So that was one of the kind of the big reasons that I got it. But obviously it can do that. It's better than Weavile in the sense that it can be run with special attacking investment. It's not phenomenal with it, but the one key move that's really good against a lot of the metagame is Power Gem. It hits Charizard Y for quad effective damage, right? It hits both the Aerodactyls. It can change my type with Protein, which normally Rock isn't phenomenal, but if we're kind of playing a game where one turn might win it or lose it for me, right? I get hit by a Fire Blast or a Flamethrower and I turn to a Rock type, instead of getting one shot, maybe I'm surviving on 25%, which, could be the difference maker. So I have all these kind of like neat things I can do with special attacking Meowscarada as well. Gets Play Rough for coverage, Low Kick for coverage. Shadow Claw is another big one. If they're trying to hit me with a super effective fighting type move, I become immune to it by changing my type to Ghost with Shadow Claw, which is pretty cool. I have access to Triple Axle to kind of bypass certain Sash Pokemon. One thing that is also better than Weavile is I do get pivoting with U-Turn, making a Choice Scarf variant a little bit more potent. And then down to the pretty interesting and cool, I'd say more utility-based moves. I have Ally Switch, which is a very funny move, but it's like, it really puts the opponent in a 50-50, where if they attack, essentially, I guess I should explain it first. What it does, it just switches you and your ally's position. So any attack coming to the Meowscarada would hit the other Pokemon. Any attack hitting the other Pokemon will hit Meowscarada. It does have priority. I think it has priority. If it doesn't, Meowscarada is still super fast, so it shouldn't matter. But I think it has priority. But yeah, so I have access to that, which can be a kind of a cool thing. I have Charm and Fake Tears, which is something that Weavile does not have, so I can, lower the stats of my opponent. And then here's the huge one for me, especially in conjunction with the Archaludons. I have Pollen Puff. A lot of people that play singles think it's just like a bad bug buzz, right? And in singles, that's really what it is. It's a bad bug buzz. But the thing that's super nice about it within the scope of doubles is if I attack an ally, it heals the ally for 50% of its max health. So it's not even based on stat investment, right? So I could have max special attack or 0 special attack, and it will still heal 50%, which is super huge. Because Archaludon, right, like I said, if I get him up to +2 special attack and +6, defense, right, he's really kind of just like surviving most anything and just one-shotting stuff. So there's like a threat the opponent has to deal with, and me being able to, to heal it up every single turn is super nice, right? And obviously it just gives me an extra form of coverage when I'm attacking an opponent as well with bug coverage. In a pinch, you can use Trick Room. It's a very versatile mon for sure, and it is definitely very good because it's one of my fastest mons as well. So I'm excited about Meowscarada. I think it will be very handy. Going next, we have Base Kangaskhan. Underrated Mon is 2 phenomenal abilities in Inner Focus and Scrappy. Inner Focus can be used obviously if I'm facing a lot of Intimidate Pokemon, or if I feel that I have the threat of being flinched through Fake Out or some other means. And then Scrappy is obviously probably the better of the two, but still, Inner Focus is notable. But Scrappy allows my normal and fighting type moves to hit Ghost types, and I'm also still immune to Intimidate. Early Bird is cute against certain, like sleep heavy teams, but I think Scrappy and Inner Focus will be coming the majority of the time. Kangaskhan has its own Fake Out, which once again can hit Ghost types, which is phenomenal. Its coverage is phenomenal as well. It gets Rock Slide, it gets Earthquake. It gets a lot of these like pretty good spread moves. It gets Drain Punch. It's a Gen 1 normal type, right? It's getting pretty much every single type under the sun. It does have a multi-hit move in Beat Up that can hit my Archaludon, which is pretty cool, if need be. And yeah, it's really just kind of like a pretty good statted Pokemon. 105 HP, it's nothing to scoff at. 90 speed's not bad for the limited format that we're playing in. And yeah, it has Sucker Punch for priority as well, which is like super cool. And yeah, not really much else to say. It's just a good mon. A little limited in its utility, but it's kind of really relying on that good coverage, that Fake Out pressure, which it's my only Pokemon with Fake Out. I have one more, but it's definitely my best with Fake Out. Sponge up some of the Ghost types in a tier, which is really nice. So anyways, yeah, really cool mon. Next I'm really excited about this guy. We have Araquanid. So this is like my main water type Rain Abuser. Water Bubble is such a broken ability. You can read it on the screen, right? But really what it does is, as it says, its water type moves are doubled in power, and it can't be burned. And since fire's neutral to it because it's a bug type, well, now it's not. Now it's not very effective because fire type moves are halved against it. This can do a few things. The main thing you're really doing is, depending if you're running physical or special, you're just using liquidation and just killing things, especially in rain. It's going to be very, very potent. But you've got some other interesting stuff. You got some pretty good bug moves. You got Lunge. You have Skitter Smack, lowering stats of your opponent, while also doing pretty good damage. You have Poison Jab for coverage. You have Icy Wind if you're trying to lower the speed of your opponents as a way of speed control. And I think the main kind of thing that's really cool that separates it is it has a Wide Guard, which is a pretty low distribution move in the format. But as I said earlier, a lot of these spread moves that hit both opponent Pokemon are very strong in the format, and I think Wide Guard, as you can see, it stops those moves from hitting you or your teammates, so it kind of frees up your teammates to kind of do whatever it wants. It's just another little thing that your opponent has to worry about. And I guess without not really too much to say about this Pokemon outside of this, really insane special defense, serviceable defense, and then that attack stat once again with the Water Bubble is meaningful. It's kind of my quote-unquote Trick Room Abuser. It's not the best Trick Room Abuser, but it's an existent, it's if a team's running pretty hard Trick Room, I will be running this Pokemon. Whether it shows up or not, is another thing, but I will be bringing it at least into the team preview, and it'll be super annoying and threatening to deal with, I would say. Next guy, we have the 3-point Slurpuff. This is kind of what I was saying earlier about the items being meaningful. This Pokemon can run the likes of White Herb, which is quite nice. It has Unburden, so its speed is doubled when an item is used. It can run Citrus Berry. It can run a few other things, right? But it turns a middling speed Pokemon to the fastest thing on the planet, right? This Pokemon's stats are pretty, they're pretty bad, to be honest with you, but it is a mono fairy type, which is quite nice. It does have Dazzling Gleam for fairy spread moves, which is quite nice. But the real kind of claim to fame this Pokemon has is it has really good utility and coverage. So once again, even though it's not hitting super hard, right? You have fire coverage, you have water coverage, you have electric coverage, you have psychic, obviously for psychic coverage. So it's not going to be, full on attacking every single week, but it's probably running like Dazzling Gleam. Plus, if the opponent has, a quad weakness to one of its coverage moves, it may run that just to get some reliable damage off. It does get Light Screen, which is quite nice, but the thing here that's super, super cool about it, gets a few other utility moves as well, but it gets String Shot. For those that haven't played in a while, will think String Shot is like a stupid move, and it's like, oh, it just you hit somebody and their speed drops one stage. It's like worse Icy Wind, right? Because it doesn't do damage. Wrong. I didn't notice until recently either. String Shot hits both foes, and it lowers their speed by 2, which is really impactful. I mean, that's like negating Tailwind. That's like, the speed drop by 2 stages, it isn't fully accurate. Obviously, it has 95% accuracy, but it's like a real move, right? And it's like a real thing that can happen, right? If I'm afraid this doesn't work, I can use a Mental Herb on it, right? To make sure I can get the String Shot off, right? That's really going to be the main thing there. But yeah, I guess the last thing to discuss with it is it can run Calm Mind, and sure, if it gets a few Calm Mind boosts, like it will actually be threatening with its deep coverage. It does get Yawn, forcing switch outs, which is quite nice. If you activate the Unburden, you can use it after you, I guess, to make one of your teammates faster. And I haven't been mentioning this with any of the Pokemon, but most Pokemon in the format get Sunny Day and Rain Dance. This one is no exception, so it has access to those things as well. But yeah, for 3 points, it's a very, very good form of speed control. And probably my first, I would say, like real speed control mon in the format. This is the Pokemon I'm the most excited about. This is my second Mega. It is Mega Bayonet. So, alluding back to what I was saying at the beginning, Frisk is actually a very good ability in this best of 3 formats because we can't switch teams, right? So I can come in with regular Bayonet. I know what items 2 of my opponents' Pokemon are having, right? Like, it tells you and I can write it down, I'll remember. And it just gives me more information, not just for that game, but going into games 2 and 3, right? So Frisk is such a good ability, right? Because you're always going to Mega Bayonet immediately as well. Yeah, I'm sure there's a few exceptions, but you're just going to Mega immediately. And it's an ability that activates on switch. And it's similar to Intimidate in the sense that you don't need to keep your Pokemon in its base form to get the benefit, which is really cool. Insomnia is like fine. Like, I guess if I'm, trying, I'm really scared of like I could switch it in, right, for like into a Sleep Powder, or maybe I can switch in a bulky Bayonet with Curse Body to kind of get the move disabled. I don't know. It's never gonna come. Frisk is pretty much always gonna be there. And then when I Mega, I get Prankster. So this Pokemon gets really good moves for Prankster. It gets T-Wave and Will-O-Wisp. Will-O-Wisp being the main one, especially in doubles, because burning a physical attacker kind of just like ruins the game for them, which is like obviously something we want to have happen. We get Encore. The thing, it's kind of like Sableye at home, but there is an upside, right? It's like we have Encore, just like Sableye. We have Disable, just like Sableye. We can hit those Scarf Pokemon that we scout out with the Frisk, and stop them from playing the game, which is like really cool. But the thing that's nice is, the Bayonet forces the Protects, right? The Bayonet's going to force a Pokemon to Protect, and then I can Encore it the next turn, right? Like, it's one of those things where, you can't really stare down a 165 base attack, Stab, Poltergeist, with just any Pokemon, right? Like, it's going to force some things to happen. We have the priority with Shadow Sneak. This Pokemon is relatively slow outside of its Prankster moves. Having Shadow Sneak is really nice. We get some really strong knockoffs. We get, we get a Sucker Punch for a priority attacking move, which is really cool. We have Trick Room if need be. We have Imprison if need be. We have all these moves, right? That are going to be super strong. So yeah, I think it's going to be my prankster range setter for the Archaludon, right? It's going to allow me to do these things while still having this offensive threat that Sableye doesn't give me, right? Um, I guess the one obvious downside is it doesn't have dual screens. That has to come from elsewhere, and I mean, regular Bayonet's terrible. So it's like one of those things where it's like if I do bring it in, it's probably gonna have to mega. There's, once again, I'm sure there will be some exceptions, but I think it's gonna be, unlike Venusaur, which can function without becoming the mega Pokemon, Bayonet isn't like that. Bayonet really does want to be mega'd. So that is something that I have going for it. With all these, strong attacks and utility, but it does have to mega. But yeah, I'm really excited for it. It was really cheap. It was only 6 points. I think it will prove to be better than a 6-point Pokemon, in my opinion. But yeah, let's get rid of some of this stuff down here. I have 3 more Pokemon to go. Yeah, 3. Okay. Next one is my first Tailwind user. I have Dragonite. It is base Dragonite. It has 2 meaningful abilities. Inner Focus, being immune to Fake Out is super nice. Being immune to Intimidate is super nice. Especially I'm running Scarf on this Pokemon, which isn't like as crazy as it sounds. And then obviously Multiscale, this is what it runs in singles. Most people are aware what Multiscale does. But it can, it can really improve its survivability to get off a Tailwind, right? So, if I'm hit with a super effective move, it's just going to do half damage. It has that Tailwind, and then obviously in typical Dragonite fashion, it has all the coverage under the sun. It has a great priority move and extreme speed, and also has Aqua Jet. It has Haze for certain matchups, which is pretty interesting. It does have Light Screen as well. It can be run as a special attacker. Obviously not as well as Mega Dragonite, but in general it's still useful to have that option. It has Rock Slide. You can run it mixed. It kind of is just like a Pokemon with a million stats that has Tailwind, which is like really cool. I can set up with Dragon Dance under certain conditions maybe. But yeah, not really much to say. Quad weak to Ice, but once again, reminder, Venusaur is neutral to Ice. Meowscarada is like a fake weakness really, because it's weak to everything essentially, and it has Protean. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a good mon in general. Speaking of Meowscarada, this is the Pokemon I'm using in conjunction with Meowscarada. It is Tauros Blaze, that does, as I mentioned earlier, Anger Point, which, as you can see, it is a fire type with pretty good defenses, and because of that, it can take a Flower Trick super easily and then just start hitting away at people. We have Flame Charge to boost its speed. Raging Bull's super nice because it can get rid of opposing screens, which is super cool. And it's a bit more, I would say, reliable than Brick Break. Brick Break's an okay move, but using a fire stab move that has a 90 base power instead of 75 and is usually, I guess, with certain Pokemon not stab, is really cool. Has Flare Blitz for damage. A lot of these moves are mainly damage dealing moves. Will-O-Wisp is like the one kind of utility move that it has, and it does get bulk up as well for setting up if need be. Obviously it has Sunny Day, Rain Dance, but the main thing with it is I can just run it as an Intimidate mon. Intimidate is one of the best abilities in VGC. It's really good in singles, but in VGC it's even more impactful because you're hitting 2 Pokemon. It is my only Intimidate mon. And that's like what's cool about it, right? Like I don't have to bring it just for the sake of using Meowscarada, that combo with Meowscarada. It's cool to have. It's something that everyone's gonna have to prep for, because generally speaking, if you have a +6 Pokemon staring you down, you can't get rid of it effectively, you're just gonna lose. So like having Exodia, right, is like really cool, but I don't have to use it. Just using it as like kind of like an Intimidate spammer is like really nice, and having the fighting and fire stab is just really nice in general, So I think it's gonna be one of those things where, yeah, it may come once or twice a season where I do have just the raw damage of the +6, right? But it doesn't have to do that. So I'm really excited about it. It does fill a speed tier for me of 100. I think it's my 3rd fastest Pokemon on paper when everything's said and done. And yeah, not really much else to say. Let's move on to the final Pokemon, which is Raichu. Obviously, Raichu is a very good Pokemon in rain. It can spam Thunder. It is very fast. It has 110 speed. It has Fake Out. It's my other Fake Out user besides Kangaskhan. It has a pretty quick Encore. It has Knockoff. It has dual screens, which is really nice. It has Nuzzle for support as well, ensuring a para on something and breaking a sash potentially, which is really cool. It has equal attacks and special attack, both of them okay. Not great, not terrible, but you know, you can kind of run it mixed. You can run it kind of based on what you're facing. Is pivoting with Volt Switch, another way of another form of speed control with Electro Web. It has Feint, which is pretty cool, kind of nullifying opponents' protects. Has Upper Hand for some, you know, getting the jump on certain, you know, priority moves. Yeah, not really much to say here. It's an electric type. It filled a speed tier. It's kind of my last Pokemon I picked. It does have Brick Break if I need it. And yeah, it has 2 good abilities too. Static being okay in doubles, much better than singles in my opinion. But Lightning Rod is super cool, especially if I'm facing someone that's trying to take advantage of my own rain and use Thunder as well. Switching in Raichu with Lightning Rod will boost its special attack and kind of protects my other Pokemon that could be getting hit by an electric type move. It can stop some pivoting from Volt Switch. Just an overall kind of good way to round out that rain core that I have, you know. So yeah, not really much to say. I mean, no real. I'm looking at the items right now. No like real like, you know, insane item text or anything for a lot of these mons. A lot of it's just like, oh, you know, I'm running White Herb on my Unburdened mon, or I'm running Mental Herb on my Pokemon that is setting up Trick Room, right? Like, it's one of those things. But yeah, I don't want to ramble on too much. I'm really excited about the team. I think it's very flexible. I think it's a lot more flexible than a lot of the teams in the draft. And that's kind of like how I like to play, right? It's like, I don't really like hard committing really any play style, just because, like, one, it's not as fun, but two, as well, is like, there's just a level of predictability. And even if your team's super strong, you know, if I was running full rain or full sun or whatever, and everyone just brought 6 Pokemon with the opposite weather, right? It's like, well, shoot, like, what do I do? You know what I mean? It's like, my team could be super strong on paper, but I just can't deal with it effectively. So, anyways, yeah, I think that should be it for the video. I say this every single time where I only make the team preview, but I'll try to upload some stuff if I have the time. But yeah, anyways, I'll let you guys go. Peace.